What's going on, guys? Mikkel here, and today I wanted to bring you some of my own speculation on the Ripple versus SEC court case. It's always been my opinion that this lawsuit has really just all been theater. There's been a need for clarity in this market for a long time, and I think we can point to some pretty clear facts and circumstances from the past that can really help show us what we're seeing now and why, in my opinion, this was really all a plan to bring clarity to a very significant, highly important, and emerging asset class. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you like it down below, comment what you think, and subscribe to the channel. Guys, recently you've been blowing up this channel. It really means so much to me and makes me a lot more motivated to make these videos in the future. So let's jump right into this one. So guys, to start this video, I wanted to get into this tweet thread by Crypto Dash. He essentially is going over the fact that it's very ironic that the SEC is coming out and calling XRP a security after we've really already seen clarity from so many different government agencies. It's almost like the SEC is just stalling the inevitable idea that XRP really is a currency, and this is really just a shakeout to get out weak hands, all just to give XRP the last round of clarity to prove that it's been a currency all along. So let me present this to you. He says, first I present to you Exhibit 1. This is the OFAC, which stands for Office of Foreign Asset Control, and it's a division of the U.S. Department of Treasury. They are a sanctioned body of the U.S. Treasury, and they consider XRP a currency. So right here we already see that there's multiple different government agencies that have already decided that XRP is not a security and is in fact a currency. He says this means that they can tell Gary Gensler and the SEC to kick rocks. OFAC is standing on the sidelines while everything is put into place and rails are built. The SEC lawsuit is just being used to stall and get the weak hands out. They called XRP a digital currency. Here's another report from 2019, annual report from the U.S. Department of Treasury, which also calls XRP a digital asset, typical unit of a currency or commodity. Nothing in this mentions it being a security, and guess who signed it? Jay Clayton is actually, and I know it's probably hard to see, one of the names that signed this, calling XRP a digital asset. We also see right here that Ripple is directly looking to hire people who have experience on the OFAC, which also happens to be one of the departments that declared XRP a currency rather than a security. We also know that Ripple and XRP are going to be extremely widely adopted by banks all over the world. If we look at a list of the top 100 banks, we see a ton of them are already Ripple partners, and we know that this list is probably lagging pretty hard because Ripple has signed a ton of NDAs. It's also my own speculation that none of these massive banks are coming over to use Ripple just to use their messaging software. If they were to do that, they would have just stuck with Swift. The whole reason you're coming over to Ripple is because you want to leverage XRP. XRP is a game-changing way to run the current financial system. There is no way to move value currently in the world like you can with digital assets. Digital assets essentially allow you to move value instantaneously anywhere in the world and is going to be game-changing for removing the friction from the current financial system. Ripple is a U.S. company, and it does not make any sense for the United States to be destroying one of its most progressive, one of its most important financial companies that is currently emerging. If the U.S. was to force Ripple to leave the U.S., it really would make absolutely no sense, and they'd be pushing one of their most innovative companies offshore. Another very significant government agency is the U.S. Treasury Bureau FinCEN, also classifies XRP as a currency. And as you can tell, already it's mounting pretty quick that there's already been a lot of U.S. Government agencies that have already declared XRP a security, and it really just seems like the SEC is the last hurdle, and we're going to get into why that's the case. So one thing I thought was also very interesting is we've already seen multiple departments of the Treasury, and before we get into this one, we'll just add that Rosie Rios, one of the former treasurer, 43rd treasurer of the United States, also now works at Ripple. So it seems like the Treasury which oversees the SEC, is extremely on board with the fact that XRP is a currency and not a security. But we also have members of the Fed also pushing a similar narrative. Here we see Glenn Hutchinson, who's actually a investor in Ripple, on stage with Jay Clayton. One thing I'm not going to play this interview right now, but one thing I found very interesting is you can clearly tell in the interview they are talking about XRP and how important it is going to be to the new age financial system. And it actually seems like Jay Clayton gets it, and I would not be surprised if they had had tons of conversations in the background where they've literally explained to Jay Clayton the importance of having something like XRP in the financial system. And even crazier enough, it seems like Jay Clayton in this interview even reiterates the idea and how it could be used. In my opinion, while I'm not a massive fan of Jay Clayton, and this is a lot of speculation, it seems like to me he's a decently smart guy, and I really do not believe that he couldn't have wrapped his head around the importance of Ripple and XRP. I have a feeling that he was really taking instructions from organizations higher up, such as the Treasury or the Federal Reserve, on how to handle Ripple and XRP. If we keep going, then we can see that, and before I get into that, I wanted to also point out that this guy, Glenn Hutchinson, who's an investor in Ripple, also happened to be part of the Federal Reserve of New York. And believe it or not, there's actually been a lot of Federal Reserve members who have also been involved in Ripple. We also have the David, I don't know how to say that last name, but he's VP of the Fed of St. Louis, who's essentially saying that there's room for beneficial coexistence between central bankers and Ripple. And we also have this guy, Ben Bernanke, who was head of the Federal Reserve, who is also a speaker at Ripple's Swell event. As we can see right here, the Treasury and the Federal Reserve, who are essentially the most important players in creating laws around currency and the banking system in the US, are essentially all on board with Ripple and XRP. And it seems like the only regulatory agency, and also the CFTC is also on board with them, it seems like the only regulatory agency who seems to have a problem with Ripple and XRP is the SEC. The reason why I really think this is the case is because the lag in Congress. Congress has not stepped up to make any laws around digital currencies. All these different regulators do not necessarily have the ability to rewrite laws and put them into place. That is the job of Congress. The problem is that without clarity without exact clarity from court cases, then it's almost impossible for these agencies to create law. At the time of the lawsuit, Stuart Alderati tweeted, in 2015, the government concluded XRP was a virtual currency. Last I checked, the SEC is still part of the US government. Here's the plus side. The industry will finally get clarity it deserves. Goodbye Howey test, hello Ripple test. And this is really what I believe is going on. The SEC understood from the start that Ripple and XRP are going to be game changers in the industry. There was no way this lawsuit was going to ever kill Ripple or XRP because the innovation would just go elsewhere. It wouldn't make any sense. What the SEC was, it needed a court case to establish itself in the digital asset space. They were able to do the FinCEN sued Ripple to establish clarity and how Ripple would act with its, essentially how Ripple and XRP could act inside the current banking system. Well, the SEC needed to do a similar thing, and they weren't getting any laws from Congress. So in order for the SEC to create their own version of clarity in the market, they had to sue Ripple to create that clarity. They're essentially going to use this court case to create a standard and essentially a Ripple test. Now, I do not know if it will go to settlement. In my opinion, if it goes to settlement, then it will only give XRP clarity and likely leave a lot of the rest of the digital asset space behind. If it does not go to settlement, I think it has potential to really open the doors wide open for the entire digital asset space to flourish. Now, you may be asking, why didn't they just give XRP and Ripple clarity back when they attempted to give Bitcoin and Ethereum clarity? Well, it seems to me like the SEC really never wanted to do that, and that seemed more of like kind of a corrupt move by Bill Hinman, because he was likely paid off to do so. In my opinion, Ethereum and Bitcoin were Bitcoin was let through the door because it really didn't make any sense for it to be a security. Ethereum was bandwagon in and let also in because they likely paid their way into that position. XRP was left behind, but XRP is now getting its clarity through this court case, which was eventually inevitable because Congress wasn't making the laws necessary to get XRP through the door. The only way to do that then was for the SEC to sue Ripple in a lawsuit that essentially would be impossible for XRP to be deemed a security. Like I've said multiple times, if the SEC wanted XRP to be a security or to stay in a state of ambiguity, they would have just never sued Ripple. And why do I think this? Well, past members of the SEC work for the Ripple legal team. So how would the SEC expect to beat Ripple in a case where all the people who knew all the dirt on the SEC currently work for Ripple? There's a massive imbalance of information here. All these people went to Ripple knowing that the SEC could never beat them in a court case, and then the SEC sues Ripple. The whole point of this court case is then thus to create regulatory clarity and create laws through the courts, because Congress isn't doing their job and stepping up to handle this. Overall, like Stuart Alderati says in this tweet, what is going to come out of this is XRP clarity. So even if it's not the way we wanted it to happen, it's inevitable that we are going to get it. From what has happened right now in this court case, it seems almost impossible that Ripple loses, and if Ripple does end up getting beneficial clarity from this court case, then in my opinion, it was without a doubt a plan to give XRP clarity the entire time. I think it's going to be interesting what happens with other digital assets, but from right now, it seems almost impossible that Ripple loses this case. They are heavily integrated and have been praised and essentially given clarity by almost every form of the government except the SEC. This is really the last regulator they needed to get by, and whether people like it or not, the way they chose to do it was through a lawsuit. Many people won't agree with this, but this is how it's going to go down. This is going to make it written in law, decided by the courts, and Ripple and XRP are eventually going to get the clarity to take over the financial system. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, if you like my speculation on how this is going to go, make sure you like the video down below. Keep subscribing to the channel. It really means so much. But for now, Mikkel out.